There we go. So we got this recording, and welcome everyone to Mr. Sunshine's social media training. All right. So we'll get off just by jumping directly into it. The main social media accounts to get: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. All right. If you're not on those three, you're really doing yourself a disservice. In all honesty, Facebook is the main one that I generate leads from. Twitter is there, but I don't spend any significant time on it. I put my posts onto Twitter and it keeps me out there. So if anybody's ever looking up my information, it's going to be there and available. The number one thing that social media builds is reputation. Okay. It's a lead generating source, yes, but I don't get as many leads. I don't get that many leads from social media, but people look me up on social media and they feel more comfortable with me because of my social media. They get more informed. They feel like they know me more because of that. Because we are in a whole different sales base from before. All right. The consumers are talking to multiple companies at the same time. They are getting a lot more information about what we're doing. And if they can get information on you, they're going to be more comfortable working with you instead of the next guy who was okay in the house and the stuff sounded good, but they didn't really make a connection. People start to make a connection with you when they're just looking at your social media. So social media, above all, bolsters your reputation and makes homeowners comfortable with dealing with you. So now, when getting on the sites, Facebook is good to be on. Plenty of groups and everything to get connected and recommended to, but it has a lot of distractions and other things that take your attention off the point of what you're getting on there for. I've jumped on Facebook to do one thing. Next thing I know, I lost the next hour because I saw this other thing that came up. All right. So I spend the 90% of my time on Instagram because Instagram doesn't quite have the same level of distraction. You can get caught up in the feeds or caught up in the reels, but it's not as long. If I get caught up on Instagram, I might get distracted for 20 minutes as opposed to an hour plus getting on Facebook. All right. Second reason to get on Instagram is that Instagram automatically posts to Facebook and automatically posts to Twitter.
That's true.
That's where I get my Twitter activity from, is because of the cross posting that Instagram automatically does.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. So this way I can just go to one location and I'll post to all three just with one post. Now there's another website or another platform called Fanbase. Fanbase is like Twitter, like TikTok, but it actually will get you paid off of followers that support you.
So like OnlyFans.
Not OnlyFans. It's called Fanbase, not OnlyFans. Although I think I might look good enough for all that, but I'm not going.
Well, they're switching. They're switching. OnlyFans is trying to switch the image.
Yeah.
So they're doing that with like artists and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're trying to do that, but their whole they're a skin site, frankly.
Yeah.
And they might as well just start something different. All right. So that's the other thing. The other platform is Fanbase. Fanbase is new and it's still growing. So it's cool to be on that just because not everybody is already on there. So it's not a saturated market. But I recommend that. That one, I haven't seen anything coming from it, but I'm on it early because it has potential to grow. But getting back to Instagram, focusing on that is the main location that I have my stuff on. So now we're just going to cover. Well, let's start by covering the basics. What you need to make sure your account is built up and full. So creating your layout. Now, if everybody can pull up their phones and they can go to the Instagram and look at my account. So SWFL Solar. So now when you look at my account, you'll see on the left, I have a post from my solar array. And I do a daily post of the performance of my system.
Yeah, I see that.
And then next to that, you'll see a picture of an orphan because I'm doing a fundraising campaign. And then next to that, you'll see a picture of the guy that runs the orphanage for the fundraising campaign. Now, when you go to the next line, again, you see my post from my solar installation, and then you'll see 2 videos. And these videos are actually from an installation. This one's actually pool solar. All right. So now I'm pointing out all this because this has a specific layout. When you look at my Instagram, you scroll back, you'll see I'll have this format. Something from my installations, something from my activities or some activism aspect I'm working with, and then from my and then the third one being from my solar array. So 1, 2, 3, boom, boom, boom. Those are the 3 things I'm posting each time. Now I'll change that layout a little bit as far as the order. I'll do them sometimes all in one line. I'll do them cross. I'll do double on lines. As you scroll through, you can see what I've got going on there. My point being is I have a consistent layout of what I'm doing. All right. So you want to determine if you want to do a layout. That takes a little bit more effort because you want to make sure that your posts are done in a specific format. So that way they can be seen a certain way. And when you scroll through this, like if you just scroll down and look at my past posts, you'll see the different pictures, how they change shape and then move along the screen a little bit. So it's not completely monotonous as the exact same thing all the time, but I'll run for about a month where they're all on one side, or they're all in a block of 4, or they're all side blocks of 2s, or they're crisscrossing, something like that. I have those 4 specific layouts I rotate through, but it all follows the same pattern of post solar performance, post solar performance. All right. So now if you want to do a layout, figure out a layout you want to do and stick to that. Now you do not have to do a layout. It is not required. It's just something visual that some people feel more appealing, whatever they like to do. The number one thing is being consistent. All right. So when you're looking at the information that you're posting, that's what you want to stick to. All right. Now all posts should be something informative, energetic, and entertaining. You're here to catch people's attention and make it interesting. You want them to come back. It's not about constantly selling to people. Nobody wants to constantly be sold to, but they do want to feel comfortable with somebody that once they're ready that they can go ahead and do that. So what this ideally will get to the point where people are just coming to you say, hey, I want to go solar. I want to go solar with you because I know you. I'm comfortable with you. I love all the stuff you've been doing for the X amount of time. Because more often than not, people are just lurkers. They'll watch you for months, years, and then finally make the decision to go forward. All right, so keep that in mind. So now when it does come to your posts, you're going to put out the particular, pull up the particular, okay, Gary just had to jump off, but I'm recording this, so we'll be able to get the recording later and post it. So when it comes to the particular posts, you're going to want to write some content about what you're talking about. People don't necessarily read the comments all the time, but the thing that's important, most important inside the comments are your hashtags. This is how people are going to find you, and this is what's going to keep everything connected. So now when you go to my post, just tap on the one for the solar performance, and you click more when it goes to the comment area. I just got some basic stuff about how the system's performing. But on the bottom, you'll see you can have up to 30 hashtags. All right. So now I wove a couple of the hashtags into my comment area, then I have a block of hashtags at the bottom. So now when choosing hashtags, it's okay to have some that are like 100, 500, 1,000, but that's not what's going to get you traction. All right. Because when, like, for example, the one for residential solar, when you tap on that, you'll see it has 17,800 posts. That's a decent amount. People can end up finding me in that post and clicking on me and looking at my feed. All right. But then there's other posts like the one for SWFL solar, which is one that's tailored just for me. So everything that I post, I put that SWFL solar, and it says I have about 1,000 posts on that. So this way, if they look up anything just related to me, they can go to that one spot and see all my stuff. or at least scroll through some random order of that without having to go through my entire feed. All right. And then I have another one that's Lehigh Acres, Florida, because that's where I'm at mainly. Now, the location posts, they work out well when you get a good following and you have a large number of likes on your page. But for the most part, they don't do that much for me. And you'll see another one, net zero bill elimination program. That one, again, I attach with only for my posts that are connected to the solar performance. And when people tap on that hashtag, they'll see all the different performance days, all the different performance data that I have there. All right. So that's kind of good. You want a post that's tailored just for you, a post that is under your topic area, but then you also want to mix in a couple posts that have several thousand. Ideally, you're looking at posts that are between 25,000 and 75,000. That range gets you enough activity where people can find you just by doing a basic search of that hashtag. But you're not necessarily.
Would you say between 25 and 75,000?
25 and 75,000, correct. Now you can get into more. The thing is, your ranking on those other ones is determined by how many likes you get on your pictures and how much comment activity you have on your posts. I've been running my page for about almost 3 years. I've got 3,000 followers. My pictures sometimes come up in those larger posts. Because like when you click one that has, say for example, residential solar, no, not residential solar, Florida solar. No, not that one. Oh wait, I don't have any big. No. All right, let's look at. There we go. Okay, so if you go back to the picture of the orphan and you go scroll down to the bottom, you look at the hashtag for solar power. Solar power has 991,000 posts. All right. So now, unless your posts are getting several hundred likes, you're not going to show up in this feed. So it doesn't mean, that's why it doesn't make sense to actually use a hashtag like that necessarily. But because my account's been more established, I'll sometimes pop up on this first page, even when I have only like 25 likes. Just because my activity justifies that. All right, so as you get more, it makes more sense to use larger hashtags. But staying in that 25 to 75,000 puts you in a nice sweet spot. All right. So now, on top of that, tagging. Now, when you go to that orphan page and you just tap the picture, you'll see there's 2 tags on there. One for SWFL Solar, the other for Great Papa Ministry. All right. Now, you want to tag stuff because this lends your information to a greater fan base. So Great Papa Ministry gets notified that they've been tagged in my photo, so they're more likely to follow me. And they're more likely to stay consistent with me because, hey, this guy's showing me some love. He's keep including me and exposing me to his fan base. So this helps promote you more by entering into somebody else's social media feed. Like, for example, when you go to just the performance data, you'll see I tag Enphase all of their accounts. Enphase in Latin America, Enphase in Germany, and I also have Canadian Solar because that's a manufacturer of the solar panels I have on my house. This is for future pacing. Ideally, when my page gets 10,000 or more followers, these sites generally hire people to do for these mentions, or they'll pay you for this. So this could theoretically, Canadian Solar would say like, hey, Clifford, I appreciate the work you're doing. How about you talk about us more? I'm going to pay you X amount of money, or continue to keep us tagged in your photos and I'll give you X amount of money for doing that. So you can make this part of an income stream. All right. And then it also, if you tag like Canadian Solar and then you tap on Canadian Solar, it brings you to their account. And when you go to their account, and you'll see at the bottom, there's 4 tabs. There's a grid looking box that has pictures. there's the Reels icon, there's the IGTV icon, and then there's the tag icon. If you tap on the tag icon, you'll see mixed in there in the 5th photo, it's the picture that I have. So anytime that somebody else is looking at tags specifically for Canadian solar panels, they can see my picture, meaning they're more likely to tap on that, see what I'm doing, follow, like, comment, or something else. So that's why these hashtags and these tags work so well for you. And when you're doing tagging, and say you're taking a photo of a client and they have Instagram, you tag that client likes it, that client shares it, and their friends also open up to it, and it gives exposure to their friends as far as you. This is the guy I went solar with, this is the activity he's doing. I want to say thank you for that, and he's going to pay me whenever you guys go solar. You know, so it maintains that connection. All right, so that's why hashtagging comes into play so much, and tagging people on it. Now, the physical action of tagging is pretty simple. When you go to your post, you want to write your comment area, put in your hashtags, and then there's a little icon that's shaped like a body. You tag that, and then you'll search for the name, type in the name, search it out, tag them in the post, hit done, and it goes back. So now when you are doing that caption portion for your post, I highly recommend doing that in Notepad, copying and pasting to your photo. That's because we're going to be using these hashtags over and over and over again, and it'll save us time, effort, and energy.
Repeat that one more time.
So when I'm about to make a post, I go to my Notepad first. I write what I'm going to talk about. Like, for example, that the solar performance, I have that already in Notepad. Only thing I do is I change the date and I change the amount of kilowatt hours on that date. I copy that from Notepad because it already has all my hashtags. It already has that basic layout, already has everything in. I copy that from Notepad. I go back to Instagram and I paste. So that way I'll have to rewrite every hashtag every time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And tagging you have to do automatically, and you can only tag up to 10 people. All right. So, but this is, I already know who I'm going to tag, and I tag those eight accounts each time. But the main thing is the time, effort, and energy in writing a Notepad and then copying and pasting it to Instagram. So now when you do go through posts and you have your picture together, that's when you also want to click also share with Facebook, also share with Twitter. And there's at the top of your post, there's another section for location. Tap that location and put in whatever city you're in or whatever town you're in. And that way people can also find you just by doing a search of that town. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right, perfect. So we have that as far as that. What other questions we have as far as just putting out a post and hashtags, tagging, any other information there?
Second.
All right, everything's clear on that?
So how would you, is that also by tagging? Are you gonna, before I ask the question, are you gonna get into growing your followers on,
Yes.
Okay, never mind. I'll
Yeah.
wait.
This is just the basics. This is setting up your account, you know,
Okay.
going from 0 to everything. Because if you're not doing these little things, it's not going to get you enough traction to actually get your follower base going.
Yeah, I can see
All
that.
right. Because the content we put out is what's going to get people to actually be willing to follow us. People get interested in seeing the short clips I'm doing of an install because they're wondering what's going on with the install, how's it done, how informative it is. Because when you look at the videos I put out, they're all 1 minute. All right, so it's a 1 minute informative piece about that. And I'm energetic. You don't have to be as energetic as me because when I get on there, I'm like, hey, how's it going? Let's do this. Yeah, But you don't want to be, hi, everybody, go solar. This is a solar panel. This is how it works, you know? So, you know, have some liveliness to you.
Enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm, exactly. So now when you look at the videos I'm putting out, one is just the guy carrying the solar panel. And then at the end of the video, I have a call to action saying comment, visit our website, reach out to us in other ways. You always want to finish with a call to action. Well, excuse me. over half the time, you want to finish with a call to action. You don't ever want to do it 100% because nobody wants to be sold to 100% of the time. Just relax a little bit. All right. Whenever I do a video, I do a call to action. Like the stuff for the orphanage, I write down a call to action, but I'm not actually saying it. You know, so they look at, oh, he's doing this stuff for the orphanage. It's so great. You know, and this guy's actually giving back to the community. But whenever I do a video of one of my installs, then I always finish with a call to action. All right. So you have that right there. Be consistent. So now when it does come to consistency, you don't have to post every day. Right? The only time you should be posting every day is if you are looking to be an Instagram or social media influencer. All right? Influencers, they get paid for posts. You can make money off it. Don't get me wrong. If I became an influencer and got paid just to do what I'm already doing, hey, that's a bonus. I'll take the money. But for the most part, unless you're going for that, you don't have to post every day. But you do want to be consistent with your posts. So whether you're posting every other day, once a week, twice a week, you know, every Thursday at 6 o'clock, whatever it is, so that way people can come and find you and you can get a following of people that are consistently coming back to you. All right.
And on the question of posting or consistently, at least let's say 3-4 times a week, let's just say, is like, do you just put like one post? Like for instance, like today, would you put just one post, or how many posts would you put maximum in one day? Like you would post up?
As many posts as you consistently do. Like when I would do this, I was consistent 3 times a day at 9, 1, and 5 every 4 hours. But I was spending a lot of time on the road. I'm not able to do that. It doesn't always work. And I can say I've got kind of lazy because I used to do it the night before, and I would put my posts in draft and then just post them. Only thing I do is pop on, post at 9, pop on, post at 9, pop on, post at 1, pop on, post at 5. But I've just been busy with other things. I've gotten out of that habit. So I need to get back into it. But whatever consistent flow you can do, that's what you need to follow it. All right. So if it's only Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Have you heard of the Canva app?
Yes. And we're going to get to that when we talk about growing our following and content.
Okay.
But Canva, Josh put one out called Zwitter, I think it was.
Zwitter. The reason why I mentioned the Canva app was because of it allows you to like automatically post, like you can schedule your post on there, like if you ain't got time. Jitter.video is what Josh put out, and those are great. All right, if they can schedule it, it's fine. It's wonderful. It just depends on what content you're making. That does dovetail into what you're putting out. Because you notice on mine, I'm putting out videos, I'm putting out pictures I made, and I'm doing up screenshots of my solar installation. All right. So if you're using Canva, you're using that to draw your picture, to put your infographic out, put your meme out, whatever you're doing for that. And Canva is great. It can go ahead and schedule. There's other apps that'll do a schedule for you, like Hootsuite does scheduling for you, but it's a paid subscription for that. Whatever works best for you. The key is being consistent above all. All right. So now getting into that. So now, as we have this content out, we have what we're doing and how we're doing it together. When we're engaging in building our followers, all right, number one rule, well, excuse me, before we get to the rule, when you first start out, find the particular hashtags that fit your brand, like we're all in solar. So we want to find particular solar hashtags like Florida solar, rooftop solar, residential solar, anything in that realm. We want to get in there. We want to like a bunch of pictures from people that are already there. That's going to open up people to seeing us. And when we follow them, they're more likely to follow us. Now, when it comes to followers, though, when your account gets bigger, you do not want more than 1,500 followers, or you don't want to follow more than 1,500 accounts. If you follow over 1,500 accounts, you're put in the realm of a spam account, and you don't get as your information isn't shown as often based on the Instagram algorithm.
Okay.
So starting out, I do follow for follow. You follow me, I follow you back, and I'll follow a bunch of people just because they're in the industry, not because they're a particular benefit to me or their information is great. I'm just following just to be following. It's just kind of like a follow blast. That gets your name out there. That helps you build people into your account, and it also helps build your main base, because your main base will be the people that consistently like your posts, consistently comment on your posts. If you can get 30 people to consistently like your posts, that's what's going to get you to rise higher in the feeds that they're showing you, and when they do a search, to showing your pictures along with everyone else's, ahead of everyone else's, excuse me. All right. And they say if your post gets a comment within the first 20 minutes, again, it raises you up. All right. So one of the key things as far as doing that. So now to build your followers, it comes down to engagement. When doing business on social media, engagement is key. But whenever somebody follows you, whenever they follow me, I always put in, thanks for your follow. All right. Now, there's particular automated responses that people can do, but people can feel an automated response. It just answered too quickly. You know, so I believe on some of the newer ones, you can put a delay. It's like if they follow me like 20 minutes later, it'll say, hey, thanks for your follow. This way it looks more organic. All right. When I'm going through my stuff, it might be a day or two before I get to everything and follow, or just depends on what my schedule is looking like. But I always want to put thanks for your follow. Anybody that likes my picture, I go back and I like 3 of theirs. So every 1 like, I give them 3. This also builds your followers because, hey, this guy just dropped all this love on my page. I'm gonna drop all this love on their page. And they'll like more of your stuff and like all of your stuff. You go through that. So now this gets more engagement from my followers. Whenever somebody likes 7 or more pics, I put on my stories, I'll screenshot their stuff. When you look at my stories, I'll screenshot their stuff and I'll type in there, thanks for showing me the love. I appreciate it. And then I tag them and I send it out. This encourages people because everybody wants to be put on blast. Everybody wants a shout out. So this gets more engagement on their part because, hey, this guy just gave me a shout out for this. It gets them to follow you more consistently, and maybe they'll do it again. It also encourages them to like more of your past posts and build up your following, because it all comes down to the number of likes that your pictures get. And this is also following on Facebook. It's being put out on Twitter. So when they go to other platforms, they're also more likely to like and follow your stuff. All right. So now we're just getting into it. So I'm gonna get that. We got 10 minutes remaining. So we'll get into that. Go right there. So, but the key about that is engagement. All right. So engaging with people is what's really going to help build your followers. So like everybody, or like a bunch of stuff, follow everybody in the beginning, but once you get in large numbers, unfollow them. We'll get into unfollowing. There's another app called Nfollow. And that app actually does an analysis of your page to see who's following you back. And when I use Nfollow, I use that to unfollow people. Because if I'm following a bunch of people and they're not following me back, there's no reason, there's no point. So I want to get out. I don't want to follow them because they're taking up space where I can have another follower in my account. I keep mine to about 1,000. I think I have like 1,200 right now. I need to go through and do some pruning. And actually, yeah, I've got 1,300. I need to start unfollowing some people so I don't get too close to that 1,500 mark. But use Nfollow to figure out who's following you and go from there. So now, what other questions do you have about followers and growth? Did you have there, Brian? Did I answer the ones you were talking about?
Okay, so, well, one of the things that you mentioned was about the, is there an app or something that you can use to send those delayed messages, or is that something that you just do manually?
I haven't worked with any. I've heard about the capabilities of stuff that they can do. So I don't know any off the top of my head, but I'm
So that's something that you do like manually. Then you like.
Yeah,
okay.
I manually do this. I generally do it in the evenings at the end of the day because basically 9 to 6 is my time to contact people. So I'm messing with my social media from 6 to later.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Yeah. So I go through, like, maybe if I'm it's bad to say, but if I'm driving and I'm going through, I can like other people's stuff while I'm driving, but always be careful on the road. Don't get in an accident just for social media. It's not worth it. Your life is
Do
more
as I
important.
say, do not do as I do.
Exactly. Yeah. So but if I'm at a red light, if I'm in a parking lot, if I'm wait, I got to a house early, I might spend 10 minutes to go through my social media and stuff. But don't do it while you're driving. It's dangerous. I have almost killed myself a couple times doing it, so don't. And I'm even bad. I'm doing better, but yeah, one of those things. So yeah, so pruning with end follow, and that's an app inside the Apple Play Store or App Store. So it's called End Followers. End Followers. Using the Canva app to create your photos. I use the Apple Video iMovie to do my video editing. So I should do that. I'll go to somebody's site when they're doing their install, snap a couple pictures, give a couple descriptions, and knit that into a video and put that out under IGTV. So you go to my account, you look at my IGTV, you'll see the videos that I've done in the past, and then you can also see how I chop them up into 30-second bites. I have my 30-second call to action, and I send that out for content. All right. So going from there. So doing the basics, just like by getting everything together on the front end, helps build your followers because they can find you easier, because they can tag and relate to you easier. Now, another key thing that I have is ideally you want to get people in your local area because those are the people that are most likely to actually get solar. All right. But you'll find I have a bunch of people from all over the world. And I'm like 10% of my followers are actually in Brazil. Not doing anything in Brazil, but they love me in Brazil. What can I say? But those people consistently like my photos. So therefore, I'm getting my 30 consistent likes and get my pictures to be shown more often because they're following that. So don't feel that you have to limit to only in a certain area, because anywhere in the world, as long as you're getting a like, that's what's getting more promotion, and that's what's helping you grow more followers. Now, you do want to follow and hashtag things in the local area so you can reach out to more people in that area. And one thing I did, I had an event where I was taking pictures with people by a solar panel at that Peace Day event. I got the person's Instagram, tagged them, and I go through and like all their stuff. And then it also gives me exposure to their friends. And that's another way it's going to grow my followers, because their followers are going to be able to get a chance to see me.
Sure. That's cool.
All right. So now when you look at that, there's a block of like 36 photos I did at that particular Peace Day event. And when you see that, when you tap it, you see I tagged each person that's in the photo with me. And then when you are doing that, you can actually go to the tag, click on their names. Like we'll see the picture of me and the girl with the sunglasses. Tap on is Rosie Bright Eyes. I go to Rosie Bright Eyes. I go to Rosie Bright Eyes followers.
Start liking their stuff.
And I'll start liking their stuff.
Good right there. Hell yeah.
Again, that helps me grow followers, because like, oh, this solar guy, what's he got going on? Well, you know, I was just thinking about that. Let me actually reach out to him, because he took a picture with Rosie Bright Eyes. He must have something going for him. And you can go from there in followers. And you could follow their followers, but that might be going a little overboard.
Creepy. Yeah, a little creepy.
If it's an organization or if it's a business, I will definitely go through and follow whoever they're following, particularly local organizations, because they have local people that are following them.
Okay.
All right. So that's another way I use to follow. Like in particular, in Southwest Florida, you have SWFL events as a hashtag. That's one of the hashtags I used for that event. And anybody that's following stuff inside there. Oh, I didn't put it for that one. But nonetheless, I'll go through the hashtag, find other local businesses. And I'll follow that. There's a particular pizza place, Find Folks Pizza. It's in my area. I'll follow a bunch of people on theirs. Now, one thing is, when you are doing this mass follows, don't do it quickly. All right. The algorithm will cap you. It'll block you out and lock you out, basically put you in the Instagram jail if you go too many too fast. So if you find somebody's page just like do 60 follows in a row, you can get yourself locked out. And
So what
it's a
would you
couple
say the
hours.
minimum?
Say again?
So what would you say the maximum would be that you should follow like at one time?
I would say 15 and then take a break. You know, put 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I don't know the exact time. They don't put that out there like that.
Yeah.
All right. Same thing with likes. 15 is enough. Take a little break. Put some time in between. All right. So the main thing is if you just do a big blast, they think you're a spammer. Oh, one thing else I didn't cover when making content, have a tagline. My tagline, go forth and spread some sunshine.
Yeah.
All right. Whenever I'm doing a network event and I do an introduction for myself, I always finish with go forth and spread some sunshine. Because then I find that people in the whole crowd start saying the same thing with me.
Cool.
Everybody's got a motto. Like, what's Nike's motto? What's Nike's
Do it.
tagline? I mean,
Just do it.
just do it. It helps reinforce and connect back to you. You need one for yourself. So whenever people do that, number one, they smile because that's my money maker. All right. They love it. And they love the tagline, spread some sunshine. It's good. It's not offensive. You can't hurt anybody by saying that. All right. So figure out a tagline that you want to do and definitely post that in your videos. And then always finish with a call to action. Be sure to comment, like, follow us, subscribe, whatever that may be, depending on what platform you're on. All right. Which actually brings me to YouTube. YouTube is another good one to get on, but YouTube is not, unless you have a large following on it, it doesn't have the same immediate feedback as Instagram or Facebook. So I do have videos on that, but it's just, it hasn't been as, the return on investment hasn't been quite as fast. But we're coming up on the last minute. What other questions we have that I could get to real quick?
How are we gonna get this recording so we can watch it again?
I'm gonna put it onto YouTube and I'll send the link out.
Awesome.
Oh, perfect.
Awesome.
All right. So you can do that and follow. I hope it's been informative and give me some feedback in the future as time goes by, how well it's done for you, how it's helped with everything. Main thing is just being consistent, get a tagline and follow others so they follow you, and don't do it too fast, but just be consistent on it. And the thing is, it doesn't happen overnight. It happens over time. All right. I didn't get 3,000 followers in a day. I got a couple here, a couple there, a couple here, a couple there, and it just built up.
You started this when?
About 3 years ago, I think 2009 or 2018, I think.
At an average of 1,000 followers a year?
Yeah, well, I actually got to 2,000. It was sitting around 2,000 for a while, but it's grown up from there. But we're about to